Here we back. Now I think I might start a series doing videos on what's going on in West Africa, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, Niger, things like that, the current situation, just to kind of, give a geopolitical analysis of the reality of our situation as black men, as black women, as black people. It's crazy, man. But anyways, Joe Biden has made a statement on the Independence Day, the independence anniversary of Niger. He actually, congratulated them on their Independence Day and actually made a statement in support of the restoration of the overthrown president, Mohamed Bazoum. So take a look up on the screen. Let's read it together. Joe Biden said this year, as Niger marks the 63rd anniversary of its independence, it is facing a grave challenge to its democracy. In this critical moment, the United States stands with the people of Niger to honor our decades-long partnership rooted in a shared democratic values and support for civilian-led governance. The Nigerian people have the right to choose their leaders. They have expressed their will through free and fair elections, and that must be respected. Defending fundamental democratic values and standing up for constitutional order, justice, and the right of peaceful assembly are essential to the partnership between Niger and the United States. I call for President Bazoum and his family to be immediately released and for the preservation of Niger's hard-earned democracy. Now, brothers, I'm not going to provide too much commentary on what Joe Biden said. Joe Biden is a politician. This is a diplomatic statement. Politicians doing politician things. I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to go too deep on that. But I'm going to ask you. Imagine your father, right? Your father, he owns the house. He's the patriarch of the family, right? Imagine there was another man that came to your house and told your father what to do. Told your father what to do, how to navigate his country, how to lead his country, how to lead his household. Imagine a random man from far away left his house, right? Left his house, took the train, hopped on a train, drove, 100 miles over to your house to tell your father what to do, right? Would you respect your father? Would you respect the authority of your father? You probably would think that your father doesn't really have any authority. Probably maybe some symbolic authority, maybe. But you really wouldn't believe that your father had the true authority in the household. And that's the situation we are dealing with as black men around the world. All right, as black men around the world. Our forefathers didn't have these issues, man. Like I told you, the Europeans were extremely more humble centuries ago. They were very humble when they approached the African kings, the African monarchs, the African leaders way back in the day. They were very humble. They came with their hat in their hand, respectful, paying tribute, paying honor and respect. But now, the dynamic has changed. But anyways, take a look up on the screen. The current leaders in Niger also released a statement of their own. Let's read it together. In one of the few addresses to the West African country since seizing power from Bazoum a week ago, the general warned against foreign meddling and intervention. The general called on the people of Niger as a whole and their unity to defeat all those who want to inflict unspeakable sufferings on our hard-working populations and destabilize our country. His remarks came after ECOWAS officials said the political and security group would consider military intervention as a last resort should the coup leaders fail to back down. Now, this next part of the article was also very interesting to me as well. Take a look up on the screen. In the Senegalese capital of Dakar, the foreign minister, Assata Tall told reporters that there had been one coup too many in the region and that Senegal would participate if ECOWAS decided to intervene militarily in Niger. She said, Senegalese soldiers, for all these reasons, will go there, citing Senegal's international commitments. Senegal's conviction is that these coups must be stopped. Now, if you take a look up on the screen, this is Senegal's current foreign minister. Beautiful Fulani woman for her age, but obviously she's down with the Europeans. You already know where her bread is buttered, man. And the majority of these elites, they don't like to see this, man, because if they see their neighbors, slowly getting overthrown, and that's a danger to their personal interests as well. Not only their own personal interests, but the interests of those who they do business with, those who they have relationships with, right? They have mutual interests on the table. So these coups, it creates an environment of instability. And when you have an environment of instability, that's bad for those who have interests overseas, for the foreign investors, for the foreign corporations, the foreign investors who have business interests in the region. Those who they get kickbacks off of, those who they get money with. That's how you have these black faces that are backed by white interests. And in their minds, if the elites in Burkina Faso got overthrown, if the elites in Mali got overthrown, if the elites in Niger got overthrown, in their minds, it's only a matter of time before their own generals in their own military start whispering among each other, start speaking amongst each other, start exchanging ideas amongst each other, right? start really, exchanging notes and saying things aren't the way they're supposed to be. The economy is not, things aren't supposed to be this way. Our women and children aren't supposed to be living like this, right? Our resources aren't supposed to be divvied up like this. Our quality of life, our standard of living isn't supposed to be like this, right? And next thing you know, they start talking amongst themselves. They start getting inspired by the homies next door, by the homies down the block, and they say, you know what, bro, we gonna take the country. That's how these coups happen. That's how these coups happen. So that's why you see the foreign minister of Senegal. She's like, listen, y'all not about to get us out of here. We gotta get some stability in the region, right? So. And honestly, that's the one true roadblock to pan-africanism. Obviously, besides the fact that we have way too many elders in power, right? Too many of the old guard is still in power. So we need some new young blood. You see, the young boys in Burkina Faso and Mali, they in their 30s, right? So we need some young blood, because the old blood, they ain't really trying to do nothing for their people, right? They reach a certain age, they trying to relax, they trying to enjoy life, they trying to spend their money. They're not really trying to disrupt the system. They've been part of the system for so long anyway. They've been getting money in the system for so long anyway. They reach a certain age, they're not really trying to rock the boat. They're trying to maintain stability. Stability is the key in their minds, right? So when you see this happening to them, it's a sign of instability. And instability is a danger to their interests. But in order for any real change to come, it's going to have to be a period of instability and uncertainty to reestablish the comfort and stability once more, right? You have to make the correction, right? Just like, for example, when you dislocate your shoulder, you have to come in and snap it back in place. It's gonna be painful for a little bit. It's gonna be, we gotta inject some anesthesia. It's gonna hurt for a little bit, but we gotta recorrect the joint, get the joint right back in place, snap it back in place. And they don't really want to go through that whole process. They want to just maintain things how it's been maintained, because that's all they know. But anyways, take a look up on the screen. As you can see, the headline: the United States Secretary of State praises Senegal for being a strong and consolidated democracy. Now, as you can see, the pictures that I had up on the screen, the foreign minister of Senegal and Anthony Blinken kicking and having a good time, like they were homies on the playground, like they grew up together, like they mamas knew each other. You already know what time it is, bro. You already know what time it is, man. You already know what time it is. But anyways, man, moving on. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see, these headlines: Nigeria cuts electricity to Niger after a coup. Niger power blackouts blamed on coup sanctions. Now, listen, those who are down with the West, yeah, you already know the lines are being drawn in the sand right now. The lines are being drawn in the sand right now. And it's so crazy because I just dropped a video entitled, "Did Africans Sell Us into Slavery? Debunking the Victim Narrative," where I basically spoke about the fact that, they talk about, Africans sold their own people into slavery. And I spoke about how, no, Africans did not sell their own people into slavery. The African continent is a continent of vast different ethnic groups, different languages, different cultures, different societies, different spiritualities, and everybody had their own nation, different identity, their own political interests. So you cannot use a general statement or try to generalize the African continent as one single group of people, when clearly you can see the government of Senegal, the government of Nigeria, the government of Niger, the government of Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal, Guinea. They all have different political interests, different alliances, different agendas, different everything, right? So everybody is not their own people just because they're on the African continent. There are different ideologies, different interests battling for supremacy on the continent, like it's always been. Unfortunately, yes, those of us who have a pan-Africanist mindset, those of us who can see the bigger picture, we have a more, we're thinking into the future. But unfortunately, the African continent, we're still battling with things that we've battled with going back centuries, right? And one thing we got to understand, the government and the citizens are two different things. So don't come into the comment section talking down on Senegalese people, talking down on Nigerians, because you got to understand, the government and the citizens are two different things. The citizens of Nigeria are not the ones that came together and said, we're going to cut off electricity to Niger. The citizens of Senegal are not the ones that are saying we're going to go send a military, expedition into Niger. The citizens, I guarantee the citizens of Nigeria and Senegal, the ones who have some sense, they're not down with none of that. They don't have nothing to do with that. That's the common man and woman. They don't have nothing to do with what's going on at the highest levels of power. So do not try to make a continental war, diaspora war. The citizens and the government are two different things. And it's crazy because there are Nigerians that live in Niger, and there are people from Niger who live in Nigeria. And the two societies, they mix and mingle, and they do business among each other. So this conflict is very weird to me because, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. What are you going to do about the people from Niger that are currently in Nigeria? And what about the Nigerian nationals that are currently living and getting money in Niger? I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. But honestly, lines are being drawn in the sand. Those who are riding with the West, they let it be known. They let it be known. You know, their interests are on the line. They don't want to wake up one morning and the goddamn military is at their bedside talking about, hey, big man, it's time to go. It's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Listen, they don't want to wake up. Yo, Tinubu don't want to wake up on a random Thursday afternoon, you know, and the military walk into the goddamn presidential palace like, big man, it's time to go. That's why. That is why. They don't want their own military to get ideas. So they got to come down with the heavy hand because they don't want their own military to start whispering among each other, exchanging ideas among each other. That's all it's about. Now, take a look up on the screen. As you can see, thousands of people have demonstrated in Niger's capital to show their support for the military junta who overthrew the president. Now, this is where it gets tricky for the Western powers because the number one way they're able to cover their hand is by saying we are here to restore democracy. We are here to support the citizens, the population of Niger, because they said they wanted to vote for this guy. So they need to have their leaders in power. They chose their leaders. This is democracy. We have to uphold democracy. They wanted this. We have to support the people of Niger. So then when the people of Niger turn around and say, we actually support the new guys. We're down with the new guys. Yeah, the guys you said are the evil guys. Yeah, they're my homies. That's my dog right there. That is where it gets tricky because then what are you going to do at that point? If you say we're here to support democracy and the citizens say, okay, we're down with the new regime, then what do you do at that point? Are you going to tell the citizens, no, you're not down with this new regime. I don't believe you. That's where it gets tricky. That's why the United States and France doesn't really know what to do with Burkina Faso, Mali, and these new guys because they've been coming with the same company lines. We're here to support the people. We're here to support we're here to support democracy. We're here to support the population. We're here to support the choice and the decision of the citizens. And then when the citizens turn around and say, okay, bet, we're down with the new guys. We're down with the new regime. What do you do at that point? What do you say? That's why the Western powers are having secret meetings with some of these African leaders they got in their pocket to say, listen, go in there, yo, just invade their shit. Just bum rush their whole shit. You know what I mean? Just on some gangster shit. Just nigga grab the guns and just invade they shit. Yo, I'm telling you, life is real life, bro. Life is about power, man. Life is about power, bro. It ain't none of that morality shit, bro. Gangster shit, street shit, gangster shit, bro. Let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see, the new government in Niger has banned the French media, France 24 TV, RFI Radio, and France has condemned the action. Yeah, that's usually how it goes in these coups. This is how it usually goes, right? The president gets overthrown, they lock him up, right? They put him somewhere, tell him, sit your ass down. You know what I'm saying? Sit your ass down, bro. We'll come back to you in a little bit. We're going to go address the people real quick and let them know that we got you the fuck up out of here. And then they ban the media. French media is the first to go. And then after that, usually the French ambassador, you know, he gets a notification, hey, big man, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to go home, but you got to get the fuck up out of here. And then after that comes the military. The military gets the notification, hey, big man, y'all been here for a minute. Y'all been here since like 1895. It's time to go home, big man. You've been here for a little while. You know, goddamn, you've been walking around here just as if you own the place. I mean, goddamn, bro. It's time to go back to France, big man. And usually in response, what happens is France and, you know, all of her allies, all of her many European allies, they blacklist the coup leaders. They blacklist them. They freeze their bank accounts. They seize their property. But many of these coup leaders, they don't really have any assets or interests in France like that, right? So that's how they usually keep these corrupt leaders in power. Like you see the lady, the foreign minister in Senegal, and the president of Nigeria. I guarantee he has a lot of property in Europe. He probably has a lot of money in European banks. So at any given moment, they could freeze his banks, seize his property, take his assets. That is why you see them lockstep with the West. But you see, when you don't have any interest in the West, when you don't have any big money or property stashed away in the West, they can't really hold that over your head, right? If you live at home, I mean, I wasn't going to go over to France anyway, so I don't care if you blacklisted me over there because I wasn't planning to go there. So it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. So that's why you see these guys immediately talking about military intervention because, you know, they can't really come with the typical things that they usually come with to bribe the leaders, to hold it over their head. That's why they talking crazy. We got to cut off the electricity. We got to come in and just militarily invade. I'm telling you. And I told you, Niger is a strategic asset for the uranium deposits. They need that uranium. They cannot live without that uranium. I'm telling you, they can't go without it. Now, for those of y'all who watched my video yesterday, you already seen this headline. Burkina Faso and Mali warn against military intervention on Niger. Niger's neighbors say any intervention to restore deposed President Mohamed Bazoum will be considered a declaration of war against them. Now, Wow. As you can see, take a look up on the screen to the left. We got General/President Assimi Goïta, President of Mali. And to the right, we got Captain Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso. And they said, listen, we got the homies back in Niger. You see, the homies in Niger, yeah, they're my homies right there. That's my dog right there. Whatever he with, I'm with it. Whatever he doing, I'm doing it. So, like I said, lines are being drawn in the sand. Lines are being drawn in the sand. And the politics of West Africa has always been extremely complex, extremely multi-layered. That's why we can never simplify our history and our politics in West Africa. We have to really examine it in its totality. In its totality, both historically and in present day. Can never simplify, bro. It's very complex, very multi-layered, a lot of players involved, a lot of different interests. It's a lot. It's very deep, bro. It's very deep. But anyways, before we get out of here, I'll admit I'm not very familiar with, the intricate tribal politics amongst the different factions across Africa. As a son of the diaspora, as a son of the slave trade, I'm far removed from that. So, but I do know this brother on Twitter. I do respect his opinion and his thoughts. He said this: I already told y'all, it's an ethnic beef. Mohamed Bazoum is the first Arab president of Niger. The Hausa majority did not like that. They tried to prevent him from taking office in 2021. And this person responded and they said this: Mohamed Bazoum should go and become a president in Saudi Arabia. The House of Saud does not tolerate elections, do they? And this person responded and they said this at the top: they're Africans, so whatever you say won't change that they are Africans. They're Arabs, but they are Africans. And the person on the bottom said, I agree, but a minority group will no longer rule us in Africa. It's hardly allowed in the Middle East or anywhere else. This person said, this is what I don't get. I've seen photos of these Arabs that live in African countries like Niger, and they always look like any other black person. Is this an example of Arabization? Because I'm not seeing the racial difference. This person said, it's Arabization. Just like how some Sudanese will tell you they are Arab when they are phenotypically black. This person said, you have what they call, they all look alike disease. Africans can tell right away who has Arabic or European ancestry among their populations. One blood drop rule nonsense doesn't go beyond the U.S. borders. You not being able to tell the difference doesn't mean the concerned parties in Africa cannot. I agree. Correct. Now, this lady said, it is patriarchy because of the paternal lineage is Arab and maternal is normally African. You see how it goes, bro? You see, this is why men are territorial about their women, because you let your women go off and go mix and mingle with all these other races, and then she come back with a mixed race with a mixed race baby, and next thing you know, the mixed race baby grows up and then follows in the footsteps of the father, and then starts taking after the father and following in the interest and personality of the father, and now they are now going to war against you, and it all started because some black woman wanted to lay down with some man who wasn't black. Now, anyways, let's continue. It's patriarchy because the paternal lineage is Arab and the maternal is normally African, regardless of beginning with one Arab man and then going deep on intermarriage with pure Africans with no Afro-Arabs. Within 4 generations, you could be 100% African, but since you're from that one Arab man, you are classified as Arab. Man. Yeah, it's very complex, man. Very complex shit. But anyways, man, for those of you guys who are well informed, if you live in Mali, you live in Niger, if you're familiar with that culturally, let me know. Get into the comment section. School me. School your brother. I'm from the diaspora. I've been gone from the continent for centuries, bro. I forgot how shit goes. You know what I mean? I forgot how it goes. I'm all the way, you know what I'm saying, on the other side of the world. So, bro, school me. Tell me the tribal politics if you know about it in the comment section. Tell me about the different beefs. Who the Hausa got beef with, who the Fulani got beef with. You know what I'm saying? Tell me, school me, bro. Put me on game. Anyway, it's your boy Neferkari Desaline back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash out up on the screen, and I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in the ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling attention. attention. Enemy watching, he blocking my vision. Been for the check, cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This is an art, and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.